Listen, you can keep Battle. You can even keep Need. These are the songs that I would die for. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Ali, and today we are going back in time to do a deep dive into all of the songs that Taylor wrote incredibly early in her career to prepare you for what might be to come on self-titled Taylor's Version.
Y'all wanna hear some country music? Haha, you're in the right place.
Kind of all collectively decided that Reputation Taylor's Version is next, and I'd be totally fine with that. I actually kind of love the poetry of, you know, Taylor reclaiming her reputation and then finally her name. However, it's no secret that debut Taylor's Version is the re-recording I am personally most excited for. It is the album that made me a fan. When I first saw Taylor, these were a lot of the songs that I heard her play live, so it just means a lot to me. So I thought today I could use some of my Swiftorian history knowledge and give a little education on some of the songs that we could expect to see on the debut vault. Also, I happened to thrift these most incredible vintage leather cowboy boots yesterday for $15. So I'm taking that as a sign from the universe that I needed to make this video. Let me just put that back on. Now, a quick but very important disclaimer. The songs that I'm going to be talking about today are things that, unlike recent leaks, have existed openly on the internet since the beginning of Taylor's career. These are songs that she has distributed herself or just kind of exist and have always been part of like the zeitgeist. And I'm taking the fact that these are all still uploaded publicly on YouTube and have been this whole time as kind of a gentle confirmation that they are okay to discuss. However, if anyone from Taylor's team sees this and isn't comfortable with this video being on the internet, just let me know and I will happily take it down. So today we are only discussing the early days of Taylor's career. I mean, these were literally the songs that existed on my iPod shuffle when I was a kid.
It's just like this little cute song and I was like so in love with it.
You guys know I am a country girly at heart. I am so excited for this vault, and I kind of wanted to make this video to help educate but also get everyone else as excited as me. Obviously, Rep has so much hype around it, and as it should, rightfully so. But I just think Taylor Swift Taylor's Version is gonna change the world. And I don't know if people know that yet, but I do. Now, in the comments, I would love to hear from you guys your favorite unreleased songs and which ones you think we will get on Taylor's Version. I feel like as fans, we are so incredibly lucky to have picked a singer that not only is, you know, talented and has really gone the distance in her career, but was talented from such a young age that we have this deep well of a catalog of songs from the age of 12 that are not only like kind of fully formed and fleshed out, but actually kind of good. And in some cases, really, really good. So before I dive into the songs, I just want to go through how we kind of know about these songs as someone that has been a fan since the beginning. How did we come across these songs? Why do we know the words? How did we stumble upon these? So in a lot of cases, it was just that Taylor performed them live and then never put them on an album. For a while, the most famous case of this was Sparks Fly. I mentioned this in my Speak Now breakdown video, but this was a song that Taylor wrote and performed in the debut, or self-titled, I guess I should say, era, and yet it never ended up on the album. So the fans, we kind of pestered Taylor for years to finally include it, and then it found its home on Speak Now. Similarly, we saw this with All Too Well, the 10-minute version. Once Taylor mentioned that there was a 10-minute version that existed, we could not let that go until we got it. And while the ownership of Taylor's masters and the label debacle was obviously one of the most sad and traumatic things to happen to someone with your life's work, the invention and inclusion of the vault tracks on these albums has provided so much more value, and I think is just genius. So while I wish she never got her work stolen, selfishly, as a fan that enjoys getting more songs from her, I can't say I'm fully mad. So in addition to songs that we heard at live performances, there are also things like the Journey to Fearless, the Speak Now World Tour DVD, the Miss Americana documentary. All of these have contained snippets of kind of demo and unreleased songs. Good Morning America features, Taylor's own MySpace.
MySpace is an awesome new thing. It's an online website where people can really connect with artists. Every night I really try to keep tabs on my MySpace and see people who are leaving me comments.
Fun fact, if you want me to really show my age, I was friends with Taylor on MySpace, and I think had her as my top friend because I felt bad choosing any of my friends to go there, but it doesn't really work out because then it's just like whoever's next in line. Anyway, Taylor's old website had a lot of these.
Come on home. You want to talk? Info. Come see what I'm doing. Pictures. Thanks, you're the best.
It was just so vintage and cute. There were photo shoots Taylor did with an early sort of Fearless track list written on her mirror, which as you can see wasn't what we ended up getting. There are these adorable demo CDs that Taylor would hand out sort of prior to her self-titled album coming out. I'm trying to train myself to say self-titled instead of debut. Before Taylor Swift, the album, came out. These have to be the rarest piece of merch that exists in the world. Sometimes they were CDs made to hand out to record labels to try and secure a recording or development deal. Some of them include covers, but as she got older, they were mostly self-written songs. Because when Taylor first arrived in Nashville, she kind of was trying to get her name out there and get recognized as a singer, but realized that she needed something to really set her apart from other artists. And that, it turns out, was writing her own songs. So as she gets older, covers tended to, you know, leave those demo CDs, and she was really about trying to prove her songwriting chops. The GAC Shortcut series has great insight because this was also filmed before her debut album was out.
My name is Taylor Swift. I'm 16 years old and I want to be a country music recording artist. Don't think that passenger seat ever looked this good to me.
Now, as I'm sure you know, there are so many songs from this time, like probably hundreds, so I won't be covering them all in today's video, but I will cover my favorites and the ones that I think are sort of most important to know about. Now, if I'm shooting for the stars here, I would actually tell Taylor to release not only debut Taylor's version, you know, with the traditional 6 vaults, but also maybe as like a double feature, an entire vault album. Because there are just so many of them, why not? I understand that a lot of these songs might come across as a little bit less mature than her songwriting now, but as a country stan, I will still buy and stream the heck out of them. And ideally, in my mind, that would be produced by Nathan Chapman.
In the case of Nathan Chapman, I met him when I was 14 and he was making our demos in a shack behind the publishing company. I just fell in love with what he did with my songs.
So what do you think of this mix?
I think it's awesome.
I just think his work was so instrumental, no pun intended, to her first few albums and that sound that I really grew up with. So yeah, in my dream scenario, that's what would happen, which is unlikely, but it's my dream. I can do whatever I want. So I'm gonna run you through my top 10, aka like my dream top 10 vault songs, and then I'll take you through kind of the honorary mentions or songs that you kind of just need to know about because there's a good chance that some of them will be vaults. Okay, first up we have Diary of Me. What a banger. To me, this is like the country version of a glittery gel pen song, which is really my ideal dream song. Lyrically, it's a little bit, hey, I'm quirky, I'm not like other girls, but that was very much the cultural vibe of 2006. Sonically, it definitely would fit in like a 2000s rom-com or teen girl coming of age movie. Like that opening guitar riff, I could hear on the opening shot of a movie, like zooming in on a girl in her little small town. And I would just love to read my favorite lyrics to you. I'm a laid back, t-shirt, blue jean, mood ring kind of girl. Hey yeah, what's the word on you? Make no mistake, I definitely had some form of lyrics from this song in my MSN AOL like status at some point. It also just has such banger production and it's one of the better sort of recordings that we have out there, so that kind of adds to it as well. Unfortunately, this song was not written by Taylor, which I only learned a few years back, and that kind of blew my mind because it really fits in with the vibe of all of her other songs written around that time. So sadly, I can pretty confidently say that we won't get this because Taylor Swift doesn't release songs that she didn't write. Sad for me, but again, this is my dream wish list. I had to mention her. Number 9 is a little song called R-E-V-E-N-G-E, and I had to really stop and think about that for a second. Taylor Swift really said, hey kids, spelling is fun.
R-E-V-E-N-G-E, my list of things to do this week. And tonight I'm going out on a date with your best friend. He always liked me anyway.
So this was written in 2005. The demo is from around then as well. But then it was also re-recorded for Big Machine Records in 2008, which I find incredibly interesting because to me that indicates that she was likely intending to put it on Fearless. What other reason would there be for re-recording it? Like, it is definitely such a debut song. If anything, I could push it to Speak Now because those are kind of her early country woman scorned or like girl scorned albums where she had like a vengeance and she was just sassy. She was very sassy on those 2 albums.
You hate my friends, so tonight I call them all. Later on, you can expect some prank phone calls, baby.
It also weirdly wasn't on that mirror tracklist photo that we've seen. I do wonder if maybe she re-recorded it to pitch it to another artist because, you know, obviously Taylor has sold songs to other recording artists. The girls on the Swift Legacy podcast also suggested that she could have recorded it for a movie that just, you know, never happened.
I hope you cry, I'm getting my REBENG.
Lyrically, it's very similar to Picture to Burn, maybe even a little bit of Better Than Revenge, but more so I would say another unreleased song that we'll get to called Matches. I love the pop country sound of this, and I wish we would get it on debut. I don't think we will, but had to mention it here. Number 8 is a song called I Heart ?
I got an I heart question mark written on the back of my head.
Probably all of you have heard of this song. This was technically officially released on the Walmart EP Beautiful Eyes, so there are physical copies of it out there in the world. If any of you guys ever find a vinyl version of Beautiful Eyes, please buy it for me. That is my dream to own. And again, this is just such a fun one. The lyrics, oh, Taylor could have written Romeo and Juliet, but Shakespeare could not write Wake up and smell the breakup, fix my heart, put on my makeup, another mess I didn't plan.
Wake up and smell the breakup, fix my heart, put on my makeup, another mess I didn't plan.
This is country lyricism at its finest. I feel kind of hopeful that we might get this because it's sort of it's a popular song. I would say most long-term fans know this song very well. She did write it. It's not lyrically too outdated. Taylor potentially leaving her debut album for last, while symbolically great, does fall into the problem of like she's going to be her oldest self re-recording this. And so a 34-year-old question mark, like we don't know when these are all recorded, but maybe 33-year-old singing these songs that were written from like 2003 onwards. Baby Taylor. I wonder if she will only choose the songs that are lyrically a bit more mature and advanced, which I hope not, because I would love to get Lucky You, and we'll get to that. But it will be very interesting hearing such an adult grown Taylor that has written Midnights and Folklore and Evermore to sing these kind of songs. But honestly, that is exactly what I need in my life. So I'm just truly so excited. Now, number 7 is Highway Don't Care.
I can't live without you, I can't live without you, baby, oh baby. Highway don't care.
I know what you're thinking, Ali, that's not an unreleased song. And you are right. It is a song that exists by Tim McGraw featuring Taylor Swift and Keith Urban. However, I would love a version of this just by Taylor. As great as her feature is, I want to hear all of it. I think she really shines on that song. The melody's beautiful, and I think she should take a swing at doing the whole thing. Again, Taylor didn't write on this song, so pretty much impossible that we would ever get that, but I just mostly needed to mention this because I know none of you are listening to this song as much as you need to be. So this was just my chance to give you a friendly reminder that it exists. Now, number 6, this might be the song that I would most love to hear, and that is called Nashville. Now, this is not to be confused with the song Nashville that Taylor covered on the Speak Now tour, which is also incredible.
Well, it's not quite London or the south of France. Going back to Nashville, thinking about the whole thing, and it's safe and warm. Going back to Nashville, thinking about the whole thing, 'cause you gotta run sometimes.
Like, if we're gonna put covers, hold on. I've been saying that Taylor wouldn't put songs on that she didn't write, and yet the song Untouchable exists. Literally a cover song. Scratch everything I said. All those songs are back on the table. Oh my god, I'm so excited. So technically, we could also get that version of Nashville that Taylor covered. It just suits her tone of voice so well. Anyway, that is not the song that I'm talking about. This version of Nashville is a song that Taylor herself wrote at a very young age and is allegedly, and I quote, the best song that Taylor Swift has ever written. Who said this, you may ask? This is a group that calls themselves Taylor's Inner Circle. Some of you guys might know who that is. Basically, the Inner Circle call themselves like protectors of Taylor's music, which I don't really know if I would call them that, but they are essentially a group of people that have access to Taylor's music, and like I think it was them that kind of hinted at the name of Folklore before Folklore was announced. Not even Taylor's parents knew about Folklore, so it worries me that it's like someone really on the inside of her team. I don't know what their connections are. I don't look into them. I don't like to think about it because I don't like things spoiled, but this is how I heard about this song. They were quoted as saying that Taylor has this song called Nashville and it is the best thing she'd ever written. And I think they said that in around 2015. So anything from that point prior was included in that statement, which is fair game because she hadn't written Would've, Could've, Should've yet. So I believe them. It could be her best song up until that. This song has, I guess, the most mystery and intrigue to me. I also just love thematically, it's about Nashville. So my dream would just be to someday hear this song. Number 5, we have a little known song called Permanent Marker.
Well, y'all, like he said, I am 16. Don't know if I'm allowed to be in here or not, but whatever. It's a song I wrote about ex-girlfriends who don't exactly know that they're ex-girlfriends. I think y'all know what I'm talking about. This is called Permanent Marker. I know he loved you a long time ago. You were never good enough for him or anything like me. So your might as well sit back and sign. Trying to show maturity. This is the shape I drew to your face. Permanent marker. Oh yeah.
This is a song that Taylor played live maybe the most out of all the songs on this list. It really got a workout on those stages and it's super surprising that it was never released. In particular, she played this at her 2006 Walmart concert. I think she's played it like over 30 times live. So a lot of people have live videos and recordings of this one. And at those shows, she said A, that it was going to be included on her album Fearless, and B, that it was written about a girl who cheated on her brother Austin. So it's very interesting that this never ended up as a Fearless vault track or even a bonus track back in the day. We did get songs on the Fearless vault that were written in the Speak Now and debut eras. So like there's sometimes a bit of overlap and crisscrossing. So it's definitely possible that this could be slotted kind of back into the debut era and I'd be fine with that. My favorite part of the song is I found that picture of you in that green dress.
I found that picture of you in that green dress.
I think because it reminds me of After Everything and that little black dress. But for those of you who watched my previous video ranking every single outfit that Taylor wears on the Eras tour, you'll know that I included a snippet of this song. And those of you that follow me on Instagram and Twitter know that I've said I include little Easter eggs in my videos for what the next upcoming video would be. So if any of you picked up on that, well done, here we are. Now, this song actually ended up being sold to another country artist named Mary Sarah.
I found that picture of you in that green dress. X is the shape I drew through your face in permanent marker.
This was put on her album, which was marketed as a 10-song album. You know, you can still find her recordings of it on YouTube. However, when you look on streaming of that same album, it only contains 9 songs and not Permanent Marker. So I don't know if like the rights could have run out because I think when you buy it, it's like permanent, right? Maybe they wanted to distance themselves from that song. I have no idea why it doesn't exist there anymore, but I do know that Taylor still has the capacity, I think, to release it herself because we saw that with songs like Babe and Better Man, which thank you, Taylor. Guys, remember when I predicted that we would get Babe, Taylor's version? I'm hoping that something from this video will come true as well. This song is sassy, it is fun, it is just my dream Taylor sound. Okay, now number 4 is The Best Day. We're thinking, Ali, this is not an unreleased song. This is obviously the song by Kelly Pickler that Taylor Swift wrote with her. They wrote this while they were both on tour for Brad Paisley, and Taylor also stars in the music video with Kelly. And this, again, is just such a fun song. This whole era of Taylor and like her songwriting is just so unhinged in the best way possible. Side note, if you haven't seen the music video, it is one of my all-time favorites, so definitely check it out. Like I said, Taylor wrote this with Kelly, but her vocals are like not super, it's not like a duet or anything. She's just kind of doing backup. So I would love to hear Taylor's version, literally, of this song. The bridge is one of my all-time favorites. It is, again, just my favorite kind of like country sound for Taylor. And once again, this would be kind of the equivalent of us getting Babe, Taylor's version. We deserve it and also we need it. So please, Taylor. Okay, now before I tell you guys my top 3 dream Taylor Swift debut songs, I'm gonna go through the honorable mentions. So first we have a little fan favorite called Sweet Tea and God's Graces. Not to be confused with Sweet Tea in the Summer, but there are similarities to that lyric.
You can get high on a first kiss and get by on sweet tea and God's graces, and that's what I learned from you.
This is kind of about the simplicity and beauty of a first love. My favorite lyric is, "You can love like a sinner and lose like a winner," which is a very interesting lyric for Taylor to write around that age, because we know, we know she was raised very religious. We know her outlook on life, especially if you compare it to her references to God in other songs. I would actually love to hear from you guys what you think she meant by that lyric at that time. Obviously, there are a lot of references to God and Jesus on her debut album and on a lot of the unreleased songs. That's quite common for this era of her songwriting. So while we as fans have always referred to this song as Sweet Tea and God's Graces, it was included on a demo CD featuring a bunch of other artists, including Nathan Chapman's wife, and on there it was titled What I Learned From You. So I wonder if she were to release it now, which of those two titles she would go with, kind of like a Bye Bye Baby situation. Then we have another crowd favorite, Smoky Black Nights, which we actually hear a bit of in the Miss Americana documentary.
You know, I usually have these things memorized, but I just finished it 5 minutes ago, so. Let's watch the tide chase the waves into the sand.
But this was included in one of Taylor's like demo CDs, so there are full versions of it online because it physically existed in the music world. This to me sounds like an early LeAnn Rimes banger, and I think it actually is quite a good contender to be a vault song. It's one of the first songs Taylor wrote, but I say that to mean one of the first full songs, I think, like fully produced and everything. It's really about the summers that she spent in Stone Harbor, which is a small town on the New Jersey shore. I don't know what you guys call it, and the crush that she had on the boy that lived next door. Just such a classic tale. Next we have another very popular song, which is All Night Diner. This was written in 2005 with our main girl, Miss Liz Rose. One thing I've always loved about Liz is even when Taylor was super young, she said basically that she was Taylor's like editor, that Taylor came in knowing exactly what she wanted to write. She came up with all these words and Liz kind of just fine-tuned it and helped her out. It's really insane thinking about the talent that Taylor had for writing and lyricism and poetry and storytelling, even from such a young age. So All Night Diner, side note, diners are one of my all-time favorite American things because it's just so nice to have somewhere you can go at any time of the night that's not like a bar or a club. Like you don't have to drink alcohol, it's not loud, you can just hang out with friends. This is also why Waffle House by the Jonas Brothers is great. One of my favorite lyrics is, "I'm a walking tape recorder of everything you say." And I've always wondered if she meant like that she was listening so intently to him, taking it all in, like really taking note and remembering the things that he loves or cares about, or is she a walking tape recorder because she puts details about the people that she likes into her song. So she's like taking note of it to use later. I also love the line, "Lonely like a line in an old love letter no one ever wrote." I just think that is so like hauntingly beautiful for such a young child to write. And it kind of reminds me of, the greatest films of all time were never made. This song is about loving someone so much and not wanting to lose them and sort of not knowing who you would be without them. So it kind of has early Cornelia Street vibes. The lyric, "I'm a stranger in an all-night diner," to me is very much giving "please don't ever become a stranger" whose laugh I could recognize anywhere. Next is Just South of Knowing Why, also known as Drive All Night.
I could drive all night, just south of knowing why.
I personally always had this on my iPod as Drive All Night. So when I heard people talking about Just South of Knowing Why, I was like, sounds a lot like that other song. So please let me know which one you have always referred to this as. This song was written around 2004, so quite early on. And it's always been one I've loved, honestly. I think that guitar in the intro is so fun, so sexy. Kind of similar to The Outside and A Place in This World. It's just someone wanting to run away and like figure things out, whether they're running away from something or to something, just trying to figure out who they are. We know that Taylor is great at writing about her own experiences in life and giving very detailed, especially in the early days, recounts and, little artifacts in the songs about what has happened to her. But she has also always been great at writing about other people, whether that is imaginary people like Betty and James and Augustine, or real people like Rebecca Harkness. We see that even on her early albums, like Mary's song being written about her next door neighbor, or Tied Together with a Smile for her friend. So this song could be inspired by someone that she did actually meet, or a scenario that she's mentally putting herself into. Taylor was writing love songs about relationships and breakups for years and years and years before she had ever dated a boy, kissed anyone, and anything like that. So she's always had this knack for, what would we call it, like daydreaming with a purpose. I think that comes from real empathy, being able to understand someone so much you can put yourself in their shoes even if they don't exist. That is next level empathy. By the way, you can actually find out a lot of information in regards to these early songs in the Lover Journals. Sometimes she'll mention song names or things that have inspired her in those bad boys. And speaking of writing songs for other people, there is also the song Gracie. So this is kind of similar to the song Ronan. It was written about a young girl that she met who was sick. She met Gracie and her family on a plane in 2005, and sadly Gracie passed away in 2019. I honestly don't know if Taylor would re-record this. I think it would be up to the family, and obviously Taylor would ask them how they felt about that. Obviously we did get Ronan as not a vault track, but like an addition to Red, which I think was so beautiful for her to do that. And obviously Maya was comfortable with that, but I think again it would come down to Gracie's family. There are also clips from over the years of Taylor interacting with Gracie.
Thank you for remembering my birthday. Thank you so much. Love you. Love you, Gracie.
Gracie is also the first face we see in the Love Story Taylor's version video. And there's a comment left by her dad on that video, which I'll read to you guys. It says, James Johnson, 2 years ago. The little girl in the first photo was my daughter Gracie. She was about 5 when that was taken and was in treatment for leukemia. She survived leukemia but developed a brain tumor when she was 18. She passed on October 18th, 2019 at 19 years old. Taylor was so sweet to Gracie and treated her like a princess. Taylor was just as delightful in person as she is on TV or on stage. I will always be grateful for the kindness she showed my little girl. Gracie was an inspiration to countless people, and I'm so thankful her memory lives on. That is really sweet. Again, I don't know if we'll ever hear Taylor record that song, but I think it's just really beautiful that she wrote it. Okay, the next song that I would mention is a song called Your Face, which to me has one of the catchiest hooks from this era of songwriting.
I don't wanna lose your face. I don't wanna wake up one day and not remember what time it was. And I don't wanna turn around.
It really reminds me of like a 90s song by The Cause or something. Like I can't believe that it isn't a song that exists. Maybe just because it was so widely circulated at the time and I heard it so much that I believed it was real, because that's the case with most of these songs. As kids, we would just look up Taylor Swift songs and these would come up just as frequently as songs like Should Have Said No. But maybe it does remind me of something. If you guys know the song Your Face, please tell me what it reminds you of. There's also the song Tell Me, which Taylor also wrote with Liz Rose. Shout out Liz Rose, love you, love your work. It is a banger. It reminds me sonically of Tell Me Why, funnily enough, and like Forever and Always, which you know I love. Another very popular fan favorite is $10 and a six pack.
So I guess I owe my friends $3 and a six-pack.
Now, in this song, the twang is twanging. So much so that it makes me nervous that she couldn't re-record it, because I'm like, would she dare? Would she dare go that hard? And I mean, in my wildest dreams, yes, she would, and she'd go even harder. Now, as a kid, I only knew six pack to be like someone's abs, I guess. I guess I knew about that before I knew about terms for beer. I don't even know if we call it a six pack in Australia. I don't drink beer, couldn't tell you. So this is basically about a relationship that was doomed with a guy that wasn't that great. Kind of everyone could see it but her. So now she owes her friends some money and some beer, or a toned abdomen, depending on how you interpret that. This is a similar theme that we see in songs like Ours and Love Story and like kind of any song written about Martin Johnson. Everyone knows he's bad news and Taylor can't see it until it's too late. Then we have Closest to a Cowboy. Before there was Cowboy Like Me, there was this.
Buttons on a denim shirt, blue jeans and a little dirt. That's the closest to a cowboy you'll see me.
Before Taylor was identifying with cowboys, she was pushing them away. This is a really cute song. It's kind of about how Taylor was content with her life until a bad boy came and made her more wild and free. It's full of country cliches and angst, and yeah, I like it. I don't think it would be a high contender for a vault song, but maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows? Watch this space. Okay, then we have a song called What to Wear. Definitely another glittery gel pen kind of country song.
She thinks about it. Blue dress, angel face, looking in the mirror, wondering what to wear.
Very fun, very catchy, but very high school, maybe even middle school. It's about like first dates, feeling excited. It's kind of like a more positive spin of 15. And I'm gonna read you my favorite lyrics. 16, blue jeans, Abercrombie t-shirt, shoes, purse, hair tied back, and you should see her. She's got the magic floating through the air. The small town lights, she got up again. Move out, find out where the world can take her. Bright lights, late nights, living for the greater. Move to Paris, living on a prayer. Now that bridge obviously really reminds me of Mean. Like someday I'll be living in a big old city. She was always dreaming of bigger things. Then there is Till Brad Pitt Comes Along, where basically Taylor is in a relationship so perfect that it would literally take Brad Pitt to leave him.
Do you remember the day I leaned up against your car until Brad Pitt comes along?
This is the antithesis of So You're Brad Pitt.
So you're Brad Pitt. that don't impress me much.
Then we have I Know What I Want, which, I mean, if one statement could be true about Taylor her whole life, it would be that. This is a really fun song, kind of cheeky, kind of tongue-in-cheek. It's about a boy who kind of just wants to hook up, and she's like, no, I know what I want, I know what I'm comfortable with, who I am, and that's not it. It's giving I Do Not Hook Up by Kelly Clarkson, but country as hell. Oh, then we have Matches, which I know I mentioned before. This is like if Picture to Burn, Better Than Revenge, Revenge, and Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood had a baby. And that baby was even angrier than any of those previous songs. It's just all of the ways she is getting back at this guy and his new girl. And if you couldn't tell, Sassy Taylor is just my favorite Taylor. Another kind of popular, I think, unreleased song was Me and Britney.
Catching dreams and fireflies in a jar, just me and Britney.
This was for and about Taylor's childhood best friend, Brittany Mac. It is very cute, but I think very unlikely we would get it as a vault. Taylor was Britney's maid of honor. They remained great friends, but I think allegedly recently fell out due to differing political beliefs. So I would say we probably won't ever hear this one. Similarly, there is the song Didn't They, which was written about the events of September 11. Obviously a highly, not political, but like controversial song. I don't know. I just do not think this would ever be released today. Okay, now these next two are the real honorable mentions because they just didn't crack my top 10. First, we have Dark Blue Tennessee. And a lot of you sort of early day fans are probably shocked that this isn't in my top 10 because I think this is like a real fan favorite. This was written in, I think, 2004 and it was on Taylor's demo CD. I do like it. It's just a little bit slower than like my preferred kind of country song. It is about missing a boy that moved and moved on, and then comes a classic Taylor Swift plot twist where you find out the boy didn't actually move away and has been missing her as well, but was too proud to say anything. Now, there is a lyric or two lines in this song that I have seen interpreted differently online. The reference to the goodbye note. I'll read you the lyrics. She said, she almost called him on the night that he wrote these simple words on his goodbye note. Some people have interpreted that as like a breakup goodbye letter. I personally always interpreted that to be a suicide note, like a goodbye note in that sense, and especially because it's like she almost called him on that night, to me refers to how she missed her chance to say what she wanted to say. But let me know how you guys interpret that. It's not really definitive either way, so it could be interpreted differently, but I think that might have been too dark of a theme for such young audiences at the time. This is one that I actually do think could have a high chance of being re-recorded. It is a fan favorite. It's beautiful lyrically. I could see it happening. And our final honorary mention, which just missed the top 10, is Lucky You.
This is a song I wrote yesterday, and it's about a girl who's just different. And I really like it because it's just so happy. So this is called Lucky You. There's a little girl in this little town with a little too much heart to go around it forever. Never say never, you can do better. That's what she said. Mama named her Lucky on a starlit night. A rabbit foot in her pocket. And she said,
This is commonly quoted as Taylor Swift's first ever song that she wrote. I don't think it is actually her first song that she wrote. Like, I think she would have kind of scribbled down things earlier and younger than this, but this is the first like fully formed song that kind of came into fruition that was really like all the way done, you know? And dare I say, it is one of her catchiest tunes. It's just like so upbeat, so positive, and I constantly get the chorus stuck in my head. I genuinely can't believe that such a young person could construct and write a song this good. I think when you think of hearing someone's first song they wrote like as a kid, you expect it to be horrible, and yet this is like kind of a good song. Anytime I've posted on TikTok or Twitter about like the songs that I would love to be on the debut album, this is always one that people are like, it needs to be on there, we need Lucky You. And while I would love it, I don't think we would get it. I just think lyrically she has grown so much that I don't know if she would like relate to it anymore. However, I would be so happy if she did include it. Again, the symbolism of like re-owning the first song you ever wrote, she deserves that. I also think it's really important to consider that we now know Taylor is not comfortable putting out songs where the lyrics no longer feel truthful or relevant, or lyrics that feel outdated to her. For example, she could have just re-recorded and re-released Better Than Revenge with the original lyrics because that was what she wrote as a teenager. However, she didn't. She updated it to something that she feels is more aligned with her current perspective. So I do think we need to keep that in mind when we consider which of our favorite songs might or might not make it onto the vault. That is something that I will go way more into in a Taylor Swift Taylor's Version predictions video, but it does make me think about the song Who I've Always Been, which I for some reason forgot to talk about in this video.
Talk about what you wanna be and who I've always been.
So Who I've Always Been is one of her sassiest songs. It's kind of similar to You Belong With Me in the sense of like she's comparing herself to these prom queen girls, saying that she's more of a nobody.
Talk about your childhood days. You were the prom queen. I was on this stage. So where's that crown gotten you?
And this as a theme really worked way back then when she was young and a nobody, you know, talking about how she just wants to focus on keeping her head down, working really hard, and doesn't mind not fitting in because this job was all she had ever wanted. However, obviously a lot has changed since then, and so I don't know if that's the kind of song she could release now, because it would kind of feel like punching down. Like, she is the most famous, successful person in the world, let's be honest. The lyrics
Singing songs you got memorized with whatever talent money buys. Talk about me and you in an empty room and who wins.
I don't know if you can then say the things that she says in this song, but God, do I love that song.
And the words I wrote down on a page when I was 12 years old, small town raised.
I think that's one of the greatest songs of our time. I just think that the way she sings that song, it just takes me to another place.
Okay, it is time to reveal my top 3 dream vault songs. Number 3, we have Drama Queen.
Heartbreaker, and she's a little drama queen. This song's for you and your drama queen.
Now I know earlier I said I would only include debut era songs, and this is technically a Fearless or Speak Now reject. However, like I said, she has released songs from like different time periods, so I am considering this as allowed, especially since the sass level of it really could only work for Speak Now or debut. Thematically, it is very similar to Better Than Revenge, which is no surprise that I love it because that is one of the best songs of all time, but I do think Better Than Revenge is the reason that we didn't get this song. Drama Queen is essentially Better Than Revenge, but aimed at the guy rather than the girl. AKA she's speaking this to Joe Jonas rather than Camille Bell, which personally I think is better. She is still slandering the girl like the entire song, but at least she's not saying it to the girl. Oh, maybe that's worse actually. Feminism is out the door when we discuss this song. The part when she sings Never Quite the Fan of Little Games.
I'm such a stan, oh my god!
But my absolute favorite part is I'm a little over it and she's still not me.
I'm a little over it, and she's still not me.
The sass level on this song. Sonically, the violins and fiddles, like if this had been released back then, it would have been one of my most played songs of all time. When the Speak Now Vault was announced, everyone was devastated that we didn't get Battle, Let's Go, and like totally valid, fair enough. I get you, I was bummed too, but this was a much bigger loss for me. I would give up Battle any day for Drama Queen. This song not only has some of the most fun lyrics, but also such a great melody, and like the way it builds, the bridge, oh my god, guys, it's so good. The line in the second verse, maybe I'm a little less obsessed, but she's impressed, and I should mention she's starving for attention. That part is so similar to verse 2 of Better Than Revenge, which is arguably the most fun part. Oh my god, the bridge, it all culminates. It is so good, and lyrically it parallels so well. Sometimes you get just what you see, like you chose her when you could have had me. Everything's a mess now, watch her little meltdown. I wish you both success and I hope you're happy. And then finishing it on So Long and Back to Reality, but this song's for you and your drama queen. The genius of calling her a drama queen because Joe left Taylor for an actress, we gotta give it to her. Taylor was so incredibly hurt by that relationship breakdown and the fact that she was left like for another girl, especially another girl kind of in the public eye that was kind of successful. She had that one scary movie.
How many times
to soothe herself
have you been deeply hurt?
Deeply? Once.
Deeply. Once.
Okay. Taylor was reportedly dating Joe Jonas. We don't know if you were or not. And I know, I mean, this if it's too tough, then just tell me it's too tough.
Yeah.
So you were dating.
Yeah.
And how do you make it through and past something that was so difficult and clearly you're still very, very hurt about it?
Yeah, I mean, I've written about it, and I like to write about my life. And as my life changes and things happen, I write about it. That's just how I deal with things. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough, and it's been tough, and you just have to try to realize that someday you'll find someone that's right for you.
Now, number 2 will come as absolutely no surprise. It is You'll Always Find Your Way Back Home.
You can change your hair and you can change your clothes. You can change your mind, that's just the way it goes.
If you guys have seen my video ranking every single Taylor Swift song or my video ranking every single Hannah Montana song, you will know I have been writing for this song since day one. It was written with Martin Johnson for the Hannah Montana movie. A lot of people say they really want Crazier to be a vault song on debut, and like, would I be happy if I got that? Yes, of course, absolutely. However, we already have that as a like released song with Taylor singing it. So if I had to pick one, it's gonna be You'll Always Find Your Way Back Home. No questions asked, no doubt about it, hands down. I guess also I could have mentioned Crazier on this list, but again, we do have it kind of already. But that was a song that she wrote really, really early on and then kind of sat on it for a while and then sang it for the Hannah movie. But for Taylor to go from I can go anywhere I want, just not home,
Anywhere I want, just not home.
to then end debut Taylor's version with You'll Always Find Your Way Back Home. That is my ultimate dream of dreams. And I've been saying that for so long. It is such a pipe dream, but I have to put it out there and at least try to manifest it. I just think it would put such a beautiful spin on everything that has happened to Taylor and having her life's work taken away from her, only to get it back in a way that made it so meaningful, connected her more with the fans, accelerated her success and career so much more. Like, I think that would be a perfect representation of what this re-recording project has meant and done for her. Anyway, yeah, just remember, if we ever do get that song, it is my song. And I'm the biggest fan of all time. And my God, I just love it so much. The Hannah Montana movie deserved an Oscar, and I'll never shut up about that. Thank you so much. And now everyone, we have my #1 biggest dream vault song, which you can probably guess what it is. It is, of course, I'd Lie.
It's a song that I wrote about this guy I had a crush on who didn't know it. And then I ended up playing it at our high school talent show, and it was just really awkward and great. So I'm gonna play that for you now. It's called I'd Lie. I don't think that passenger seat has ever looked this good to me. You asked me if I love him, I'd lie.
He looks around the room, innocently overlooks the truth. He sees everything black and white, never let nobody see him cry. I don't let nobody see me wishing he was mine.
He stands there, then walks away. My God, if I could only say I'm holding every breath for you.
Back in the day, everyone was asking Taylor for All Too Well 10-minute version. I was asking for this. This was another song that Taylor played live a bunch, which is why it's like so devastating that we don't have it, because we were kind of like teased with it for a while. Just like our song and Beautiful Eyes, which I'm realizing I didn't talk about in this video. This was also written for a school talent show about a boy that she had a crush on and how it's listing all the things she likes about him. But if you asked her about it, she would lie and say, no, I don't love him.
I like a boy, and he's one of my best friends.
He stands there, then walks away. My God, if I could only say I'm holding every breath for you. Ask me if I love him, I'd lie.
It's kind of sad, but I write a lot of good songs having that little muse in my life. I really think this guy's just oblivious. How do you not know?
Now, if any of you guys are also fans from like back in the day, you probably would agree with me when I say we were surprised to find out at some point that this song wasn't like officially released. Like in my mind this whole time, this song existed on the same level as like our song. I was like, these are the first songs I heard from Taylor, whether they were on LimeWire, so sorry Taylor Swift, I just couldn't buy CDs when I was a kid, or just like on the internet. Like the accessibility of this song was everywhere. But most importantly, I think the quality of this recording, like in fact, this was actually like a finalized song, is why we mistook it for a properly released song, because it sounds so finished and so done, whereas most of the other sort of unreleased songs just sound a bit more like demos and not quite as finished or like fine-tuned, whereas I'd Lie is the real deal. The sad news about this, and the reason that I am terrified that we won't ever get Taylor's version of this song, is that it very heavily resembles not one but two other existing songs. So the band Saving Jane has a song called Girl Next Door, which this song, I'll admit, really does sound a lot like, and also You Belong With Me has quite a few similarities to that. But weirdly to me, I'd Lie sounds even more like this song called Crazy For This Girl, which came out in the year 2000, so before this song was written.
She rolls the window down.
He looks around the room.
And I don't know why, but she's changed my mind.
Doesn't he know that I've had him memorized for so
you know I'd Lie, go and listen to that song. And even just the first verse, your jaw will drop. However, I would give just about anything for this song to be properly released. So I'm hopeful that they could all find an agreement. I know Saving Jane are big fans of Taylor and have said they have absolutely no problem with it. They said they would like never sue her for this. They would rather just receive writing credits, which to me is a perfect solution. I don't know about Evan and Jason, but in my humble opinion, you would be absolutely stupid to not accept writing credits from Taylor Swift. Even if we're just going to look at that from a financial perspective, I personally, from how much I would listen to that song, financially provide them with like 3 more houses. So it would be a no-brainer to me. Now, as I mentioned, this is one of the most well-known unreleased songs, I would say. Like I said, we all kind of thought it was a release song. However, that doesn't guarantee that she would re-release it. I think we were all pretty shocked when Speak Now didn't have Battle/Let's Go, because that's by far the most known song from that period of time. So nothing is guaranteed. I do feel like at the time this maybe wasn't released because of the copyright drama, but I feel like now, given Taylor's success, she has that as like a little bit of she's got a little bit of leverage. Now the opening lines being, I don't think that passenger seat has ever looked that good to me. As a passenger princess myself, this is my song. It is also, and I will go on record saying this, you can quote me, I'd Lie has one of the top 10 Taylor Swift bridges of all time. And you guys know I am a slut for a bridge. I would never say that lightly. I just live for that bridge. If there is a God in this world, Taylor will release this song. I know I ask for a lot of things. Actually, no, I don't really. I feel like I only asked for Babe Taylor's version. And if I could just do that one more time and put all of my energy into begging for I'd Lie, this is really all I want in the world. It is my birthday in a week, and I'm not gonna tell you guys what I'm wishing for, but you can probably guess. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. This was so much fun and such a long time coming. So it's been really nice to talk about them, and I can't wait to talk more about some of these, hopefully, if we get them on debut Taylor's version. I'm hopeful that that re-recording will convert a few extra million people into country fans. It certainly did for me. Once again, thank you guys for joining me. I can't wait to chat to you in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Is this what it feels like?